Ignite to Impact.
I got a question from someone who listened to our conversation last time. And she said, I know I need to figure out my purpose, do something meaningful, but how do I get started? In today's conversation, we're going to talk about the ways to get started to find your purpose. Welcome to Ignite to Impact. I'm Dr. Geneva. This is the place to design a better world and a vibrant life. The first thing I'd like to do is to thank Pamela, who wrote in that question about, hey, how do I get started trying to figure out my next steps? How do I decide what's meaningful, And I want to thank you, Pamela, for that and let you know that many people don't know how to get started or haven't started or really haven't figured out yet what their purpose is. They're confused, perhaps uncertain. They really maybe haven't even thought about it. And some pretend that they know what they're supposed to do in life, but maybe are just going through the motions. I know that's what happened to me when I graduated, left school, and thought that my purpose was to be the best teacher in the world. And I was really wanting to be that because that's what my mom was. And so, of course, I admired her so much. And I still run into people back in my hometown, even though she's gone off, to heaven, who still say to me, I remember Miss Jones. She was the best teacher I ever had. So that's what I wanted to be. That was my purpose in life. But when I got out of school, I couldn't find a job. And then, but when I did the practice teaching, I really didn't like doing it as much as I thought I would. And I kind of stumbled around and really didn't even know my purpose, but I thought I did. So we can oftentimes find ourselves going through the motion about knowing what our purpose is in life. And, I do believe that finding your purpose can happen at different points of your life, and you can, refine, reimagine, rediscover your purpose at different stages of your life. And so I want you to know that, Pamela and others, as you're looking to figure out your purpose and not knowing what to do, you're not by yourself. But this is a great time to talk about getting started because we're in the springtime. So springing forward is fabulous right about now. So you may be thinking, well, is it important to have purpose? Yeah, so let's just talk about that just for a moment. Now, having purpose, taking out the time to figure out what your calling in life is, it's not a luxury and it's not just a little something over here you might do. It really is important in helping you have a more meaningful and successful life. And when you know your calling, your purpose, you can really unlock all kinds of possible or potential opportunities. And it really having a purpose or knowing what your purpose is can help you define and achieve your goals and give you clarity about, what it is you're doing, bring about, that joy in life because you have that meaning. And so having purpose is a good thing. Getting started is what we're going to talk about because that may, be out there in terms of, well, how do I take those steps? So wherever you are on your journey, whether you don't know anything about your purpose, whether you're still trying to figure out your meaning in life, whether you've gone along and maybe have your purpose, but things are changing. And so you want to reimagine your purpose. Here are 5 steps to get you started. at least on that journey of discovering or rediscovering. The first thing I want you to think about, and this is almost like a pre-planning step, like a pre-step. I really want you to think about what might scare you or excite you about finding your life purpose. So this is a reflection, getting yourself, kind of started this way, and really taking a good look at what might be scaring you about finding or reimagining your purpose. Do you think whatever you're thinking about maybe seems risky, or do you feel vulnerable? Are you thinking, well, what if I fail? And what if people laugh at me? Or all those kinds of things. You know, um, Let me first say, if those are thoughts that are going through your head, don't worry about it. Everyone thinks those thoughts at some point in time. So you're not alone. But the point is that you need to think about those things and what can you do if you're feeling uncomfortable or vulnerable. Start by writing it down. Everything that comes into your head at the thought of finding your life purpose. And so don't filter it out, don't critique yourself, just write it down. Okay. I remember when I was in school, one of my professors gave us the assignment of uh, writing our purpose, our life mission, as he called it. And it was kind of scary because I had these big, big, big dreams, or so I thought. And, I said, oh my goodness, can I really do this? But what he did was force us to write it down, not just think or ponder it in our head, write it down. So when I started writing, and and then he also said, don't figure out the how you're going to do it right now. All you're doing is you're really just writing down the why you want to do this thing. What's the meaning of it? And what are you talking about? The why and the what. He said, just write that down and just write it down. And once I did and saw it, I said, oh, okay. That was a great step to get me started to take the next steps. So that's what I want you to do, to write it down. And you can also use this prompt. Ask yourself, if I intentionally live my purpose, I'm afraid that dot, 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 and then fill in that. Okay. So if you have these, concerns about, being vulnerable, or it's risky or scary, I want you to identify that. So, you're afraid that, people might laugh at you. You're afraid that you fail. You're afraid that you won't have, the energy to make it happen. Whatever it is, write that down too, fill that out. And then once you've done that, take a deep breath and then ask yourself another question, the second question: what do I need to feel supported in this purpose that I see? And so oftentimes we don't stop and think about the resources that we might need. So let's say you want to make the world environmentally safe. Okay, that's a big purpose. And that could probably give you a lot of meaning in your life, but you're kind of scared about it. It's so big and, it's risky. So you want to identify, well, if you think it's kind of risky, what is it that you're afraid of? And then what are some of the resources that can help you get over that? And, you may decide that, well, one of the things I need to do is I need to start a business so that I can make products that will be environmentally safe. And that could be something that could support your meaning, your dream. So, okay. So I'm spending a little bit of time on this first step because often it's the obstacle we need to get over. That is that fear of failure before we even start our purpose journey. Okay. So I want you to spend time with that first step. Okay. The second step is, and again, we're taking our steps. This is a little bit more pre-planning, but it's getting you in it, is to give yourself permission to change. Okay. So well, what does that mean? Well, first of all, let's look at change. Everything in nature changes or grows, and it's normal, um, to change, and it's not unusual to, see things changing over your lifetime. And, whether it's, looking at a caterpillar that's there and then grows into a butterfly, or seeing your favorite pet grow from a little puppy dog to a big dog, uh, or even a person. I know I saw my granddaughter the other day, and I had just seen her. It's like 2, 3 weeks before. But when I saw her yesterday, it seemed like she had grown 3 or 4 inches. She had on a different outfit. You know what I mean? And so that it is not normal to stay in the same state or position for a lifetime. Things change and grow. So we want to embrace the potential of change and personal growth, because we know no matter what we did do or not, it's there. Okay. So let's embrace it, and giving yourself this permission to change and grow and discover and rediscover your purpose opens you up to so many limitless possibilities. And so by saying yes to change, you're really giving the universe permission to give you opportunities you may never have dared, dreamed of receiving. So say yes and see what happens. A third step to start figuring out your purpose is to focus on your recurring daydreams. So what do you daydream about? Do you dream about being a, fabulous singer and bringing music to the world? Do you dream about being the best leader in the world? Do you dream about, changing the platform on which you speak and talk about, so that you can bring words of inspiration to everyone? Whatever it is that you may daydream about, there's a reason that you're daydreaming about it. And so the next time you catch yourself daydreaming about doing something different with your life, write it down, put it down, what it was all about. Okay. The fourth step that I'd like you to think about doing as you're trying to figure out your purpose in life, or reimagine that purpose, that meaning, is to pay attention to what happens every day. I call them the everyday clues of life. So, so when you have an idea in your head, let's say you want to bring music to the world, pick up several books on that topic, about music, about, famous singers, famous artists, great piano players, or songwriters, or whatever it is, that topic of music. Pick up several books on it and read. Pay attention to what the books are telling you, and also, though, take a lesson about your interest in them. So in other words, if you go to the library or go on Audible, and download something on music, let's say you want to bring music to the world, and you download all these books about music and the artistry of it and songs, etc., and you don't listen to them, or they're books and they just kind of sit there and you don't read them, that may be an indication too about whether or not that's the right topic for you to pursue. Okay. Again, it's a clue. So pay attention to things that are happening every day. The other thing you may want to do in everyday life is to volunteer some of your time to work in the industries or the organizations that are affiliated or associated with, the meaning that you have, that you're thinking about pursuing. So let's stay with our, you want to bring music to the world. And so maybe, volunteering at the choir, in your church or synagogue, or helping young people learn how to sing, or working with an organization where you can write music or tell stories or whatever it is, but some organization that's affiliated or relates to what your dream or interest is, go volunteer with them. Or you can, at your job, at your workplace, you can find out if your company has a volunteer program. Many of them do. And you can choose to join that, or you may want to create your own initiative. Maybe you can convince your company or workplace, your business, to start a program for young people to learn how to play musical instruments. But anyway, get involved, volunteer for those kinds of things, and you'll be able to see whether or not your passion is still vibrant, whether or not you're still interested in it. And also, doing these kinds of things, particularly at your workplace, can provide some, advancement opportunities. You're showing leadership and interest in things that are going on in the community, et cetera. So you can get a double whammy from that as well. And another thing, start reading blogs and Googling and looking at things that come across you, again, on the areas or topics that you're, looking to pursue. It's just like reading the books, paying attention to the blogs that you really spend the most time with, or, as you're going through YouTube, and the topics that you catch your attention to and draw you to, and you watch hour after hour, or things you binge on. Okay, all of these things can give you a clue to your life purpose. So look and pay attention to those clues, everyday clues. And then finally, the fifth step on what you can do to start figuring out your purpose or rediscovering your meaning in life is to excuse me, let me grab some tea here. So the fifth one is to be your one and only you. Now you may say, Dr. Geneva, how come you pop this in here? But I'd have to pop something about being your own unique self. I'd have to pop this in here. But I do see it as a very important way to start figuring out your purpose or rediscovering your meaning in life. Because, you can't be afraid to be your own unique self. There is no one in history, in the world, who's ever been like you or will be like you. You have your own talents, skills, passions, experiences, and only you can make your contribution to the world. So you do really need to stop trying to fit in and be like everyone else in the group. Okay? The only thing that should give you pause is the thought of, wasting all your talent and not shining your light. That should give you pause. That should stop you right there. Because you waste your time and talent when you don't give of yourself. And so if you feel a little, ashamed or bashful about, going out on your own path, remember, no one else can be your best you. This reminds me of one of my favorite lines from Robert Frost's poem. And you all know I was an English major in school. And in fact, that's, when I thought I was going to be this English teacher and, just be this fabulous teacher. Well, I left that part behind, but never my love for literature and so many great poems and stuff. And so Robert Frost was one of my favorites. And his poem really asks you to how to examine your life and how to live it. Hey, Jean Warford Howard, how are you? It's so good to see you. How you doing? Now you want to talk about a sister who's living her life and been contributing for years and really just doing such wonderful things. We worked together for so many years as she contributed to the community and continues to do that. I think you at Kellogg now, aren't you? Doing fabulous things in philanthropy. But she's, always there. We worked together in the community many, many times, and she could probably tell us something or two about purpose and finding your purpose. So drop any comments you have or anybody else has about, okay, so Jean is at Kellogg, WK Kellogg Foundation. So again, it just reminds me, y'all out there, I know you got plenty of advice, etc. Drop your thoughts and comments. Excuse me for that. I thought I had turned off my phone. I told Tisha when we started, let me turn off my phone. I thought I did, but you know what rang? My watch. The watch can ring without the phone. Anyway, let me stay focused. Okay, so what I was telling you was about Robert Frost. Okay, here's the 3 lines. 2 roads diverged in a wood. Y'all know this. And I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Yes. So, what really, when we learned about it in school, we talked about the major premise of this was that you had choices in life. Okay. Especially at those pivotal points, those transition points that you had choices and you could choose. And that was who you are. You the author of your book, you're the star of your show. So you can choose one direction or another. And that's what you're supposed to do, knowing that you have choice and choose a path. But there's also another very important meaning, I think, in here. And that is that I believe that Frost was saying that you have to be big and bad and bold enough to live a life that is unique and find your own path. And while it may be hard to choose or follow paths that are less certain or don't give you a surety every single moment of the day, those paths in that life can also be rewarding. And oftentimes that's where you find your meaning in life. And it also, I think, says something else about life being a journey, and that, you're on this road and you can, you're going to have lots of different experiences and, travel. You're going to come into the valleys and the mountains. That's really all what life's about. And sometimes it'll be tough and sometimes it'll be wonderful. And walking through the desert will get you to appreciate the oasis and, all of those things. And, that's just what it is. And as you go through this journey, finding your purpose, understanding that you are unique in whatever purpose you choose for your life is really very rewarding and important. And that's why I wanted to talk about this and drop some gems for you today on this subject. So those are 5 ways that I hope you found value and in terms of getting started on your life purpose. And again, I thank Pamela for bringing that question, because we've been talking a lot about purpose and meaning and how important that is in your life. And so she asked a very, very important question. Well, how do I get started if I'm trying to figure it out? And so, as a life coach, I oftentimes get this question. In fact, it's really one of the first steps that I do with my clients. And that is this whole stopping and assessing, doing that self-awareness, what's your purpose, what's your why. It's a very important step in helping people design the life they love. And, my experience has been in through that process. There are many, not many, but there are obstacles, you come across. And one of the biggest obstacles I've discovered lately has been this whole phenomena about imposter syndrome. And so and they've entered into, in a more frequent way, my coaching sessions. So I've decided, as I talk about life purpose and journey, etc., that, I want to deal with these obstacles as well. Not only convincing you to, find your purpose, but like Pamela said, well, okay, well, how do I get started? And, dealing with these obstacles. And that's why I did the ebook on why worry, when we were in pandemic, because folk were just, filled with, anxiety. Understandably, everybody was. And here are some steps, to deal with that. Well, this imposter syndrome, I'm finding again coming up, and I'm getting more and more questions about it. So I decided to, create this ebook. And and Jean is saying, yes, it's saying just start. You're right. That's it. Just start. Just do it. And so I've created this ebook, and you'll hear more about it. But if you want to get some real great tips and advice on imposter syndrome, hey, I did a 6-part blog series. So go on over to my website and see that. And, right here on LinkedIn, we did a live webinar on, how to defeat imposter syndrome. And then I've got an upcoming webinar on stopping imposter syndrome now and forever. So stay tuned for all the details. But I just want to put that out there to you also, because oftentimes I run into so many obstacles that people face. So I decided, well, I'm going to do some stuff on that too, as well. These obstacles that get in the way of you defining your purpose, you identifying what's next, you're figuring out where do you go from here. These obstacles pop up, these barriers. I saw there was a comment, a couple other comments I definitely want to relate to. Oh, Peggy, how you doing, my soror? Thank you. Thank you. Peggy's saying, oh, great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Please let me know, too, what you think about this conversation. Jean says, yes, everything you want is on the other side of that fear. Absolutely. And Jean, that's why I started off with talking about that fear as a first step when you're thinking about your purpose or reimagining your meaning. Because oftentimes we have to, get over that. And trust me, though, on the other side is what's important. It reminds me of my, people who know me know I have a fear of flying. Eugene, you probably know about that because, Black social workers used to tease me all the time. We'd fly all around the country, and they had to go through special precautions and preparations to get me on the plane. But the reason that I got on the plane, I would say to myself, on the other side of this plane trip is going to be fun. I'm going to have fun, and we're going to make a difference. Because we were flying all around the country as Black social workers, putting together programs and policies and reports and studies that were going to help people. Okay. And so I had to say to myself, when I get off this plane, I'll be able to do what is my life purpose, and that is helping to make a difference in people's lives. And that's what we were doing. So on the other side of that, there, and of course, having fun. So on the other side of all these things is really what's important and what matters. And Leah says, I'm a lifelong dreamer about my passions. This was a reminder that my dreams still have meaning to my life's purpose. That's right. And that's why I say, go on and dream. The thing I want you to do, though, is, I want you to write down them dreams. I want you to find a way, put it in a journal, put it on a piece of paper, but write them down because, you at one point in time, you owe it to yourself to say, I want to not only dream my dreams, but I want to live them. And if you want to live them, that means you need some action steps. And that's what, when I work with people to help them, figure out how to get from point A to point B, that's what we talk about. That's what we develop. We build the plan. We start with awareness and making sure about what, your purpose is, your meaning is. Then we build the plan. And then we talk about being well. And in my methodology and what I do and use, and how when people work with me, they'll see that's a difference. Jean, we used to do those planning steps all of the time. Remember when we were in the northern area and we used to work with communities and do those planning steps? Well, as I work with individuals, the thing that I have in my process that is really unique, I haven't found in many processes, methodologies, is that there's a high level of importance and intentionality around being well. And so then as we're fulfilling ourselves and, starting our businesses, growing our careers, doing all of those wonderful things, we sometimes forget about being well. And so my system of helping you create the life you love includes, the primary third step in the process is creating a be well agenda, where you intentionally put together activities for your physical, mental, emotional health and well-being, so that it's part of what it is that you do every day in life as you become your best selves and influence your children and families in the world and create a better world and better communities for us all. So I think that's what I wanted to say. I just appreciate all of you joining and leaving comments. Tisha, anything else I should be talking about or saying? I think we might have dropped. What you think?
You hit everything right there on the head. We got all the comments up that we want the viewers to participate in, and you did a great recap. And I think you left a lot of gems and breadcrumbs today, Dr. Geneva.
Okay, thank you so much, Tisha Hammond, my producer, but also the small business cheerleader. Check her out. She's phenomenal. She's been helping me bring my message. Those of you, and Jean can tell you, those of you who've worked with me for a while know that I've been in this business of, trying to help people make a difference in their communities, in their lives, and just being right in the trenches, working with folk. And I need help in expanding and getting my message out there. And so I have a fabulous team that helps me do that. And the more I can get out there, I'm driven because it's the more people I can help. So I just really appreciate, respect my team and you all. See you. Thank you for being here. Love you.